Oh, hey there. Seeding out my first trays for Satin Hill Farm, and I don't have a set date yet for my first planting, but I think it's about a month from now. So I'm starting lettuce today, and hopefully those will be in the ground in a month or so. But today is a big day for me. My 2 tunnels from Farmer's Friend are coming. I have a buddy of mine coming to help me. We're gonna have to unload it by hand off of the truck because we don't have another way to get it off. So that's the plan today, and I wanna show you guys what it's really like to get these 2 tunnels because I haven't seen that content before, and I'm just curious personally. I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, but I'm gonna take you guys along. Oh, my buddy Dave's here to help out, and it looks like the truck is showing up right here. Can't wait, take you guys along, see how this goes. I think it's gonna be a lot of labor, unloading, all that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm inside the truck, and I just wanna show you what it comes like. This is what it looks like here. So just all nice and packaged up, and we're just gonna have to unload this by hand. Shouldn't be too bad, but I gotta put the camera down for a little bit and get this done. All right, so we got everything unloaded, and the driver did not want to be filmed, so I didn't want to push it too much. So that's fine. It was just a lot of like grunting and moaning and moving heavy pieces. So, you know, it doesn't come with a liftgate service, and the pallets come out awkward anyways to get off the back of the truck. So we just had to unload it by hand, and fortunately, as I said, Dave was here to help me. And this is a lot of the hardware over here, and I'll get more into this when we start putting it together, but I got 2 of the 100-foot Gothic Pro kits from Farmer's Friend. So we have the lift kit, we have the side pieces, the vertical, you know, the top bars, the wiggle wire, all that stuff. I also got the irrigation kit and shade cloth and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of pieces here, and I'll show you all that as we start to build it. So we'll see you guys then. So it's a couple days later. It's a cold morning, but Dave and Jean are here. We're gonna put this tunnel together today, and I just want to show you some of the parts and the way it's packaged. It was kind of just thrown out on the side of the driveway here just because we had to get off the truck, but very organized. You can see behind me here, these are the side bow sections, and this is for 2 tunnels, remember, so there's 4 sections here. They're all wrapped up in nice little units. And let me show you some of the parts over here. All right, so as I said, everything comes very labeled and organized, and it actually was shipped really nicely. And so each one is sort of bundled for what it is. So this is like the Gothic Pro, so it has a couple of the extras. So we got the wind bracing kit here, we got the cross braces, this is the wiggle wire, and the channels. And then we got the center purlin, so that's the one that goes right down the middle. And then the lift kit over here and the rebar. And just off screen here are the sort of the pointy parts to the ridge of the top of it. And then there's a bunch of boxes and stuff. I'll show you what's going on with that. All right, let's show you what's in some of these smaller boxes, a lot of the little parts. And as I said, very organized the way they ship it, and it makes a lot of sense. It's very cool. And this is probably as close to an unboxing as you're gonna get on this channel. I don't understand those unboxing channels, like for tech and stuff. People love watching the experience of unboxing. Never really understood that. But anyways, let me show you what's in here. And keep in mind also that I ordered the overhead irrigation kit, which I'll do in a separate video when we do install it. We're not doing that today. And also I ordered shade cloth, so that probably won't go up till, you know, late spring. So some of the stuff in here is for that. But inside here comes with the instruction manual, and they do a great job with the instructions and pictures, and there's also great videos online to help you put these things together. So it's cool. I'm pretty excited about putting this thing together. The clips here, this is for the shade cloth, and then a lot of hardware in here. So this is all like stuff to hold all the metal together. And clips here, this is what's going to go to hold the, I think, to hold the rope together. A bunch of tech screws. And this stuff's heavy. These are all the plates that go on the bottom to hold, that go under the poles to hold the ropes, and then the clips here to hold up the plastic. So that's what's in here. A lot of this other stuff is for irrigation. There's also a lot of rope here to hold things down. But yeah, everything's really laid out pretty nicely and in bags, so it's easy to find. So I'm gonna go back now, and if you guys saw, we prepped the land, and that's probably one of the biggest things, is make sure you prep the land and dig your ditches and all the stuff you need to do before you get your tunnel, because you want that to be completely set up and lined up so that when you go to build the tunnel, you're all set. So we have all that measured out and dug and everything, and so we're gonna start by putting out the corners and then stringing out lines and then banging in the rebar. So the way that the tunnel attaches to the ground is with these pieces of rebar here, and you drive them down in every 5 feet along both sides, and then the hoops slide over the top. And one thing that you got to get installed first are these little plate and clip combos. And what's going to happen here is this is where the rebar goes through over here, sits against the ground, and then the rope goes to that little clip there. So you want to make sure that you put these on first, because if you're banging this and it gets wider, you won't be able to get this on. So we're just going to go around the corners, which we have marked out already, and then along the edges every 5 feet for this model, and just got to get that done. All right, so we got that done, and it wasn't too bad actually. One thing I'd recommend is that you have some larger hammers, like a sledge or a mini sledge would probably make it go a lot quicker, but having a couple people do it is great. And I don't intend to make this like a step-by-step build guide. Farmer's Friend did an unbelievable video, so I'll put a link down below for that for you guys to check that out with all the little details. No reason for me to recreate it, especially because this is the first time building this tunnel. So just kind of want to give you my experience as we go through this. So now we have the rebar out, we're gonna start building the hoops, and I'm gonna do that in the front and do it in the driveway because it's nice and level there. Putting the bows together out in the driveway here. We're not doing this in the back because it's nice and flat here, so we can get them nice and straight. We got a little assembly line going here. We got the middle sections, which have that nice bend on them, little corner, so that's gonna be the ridge. And then we have the two side bows here. Gene and Dave are just putting them together, screwing them together, and then what we gotta do is put the cross bracing in and the lift kit, which are an extra extension on the side. But it's going pretty smoothly now that we got everything sorted out and got the sort of technique down. But yeah, it goes together pretty easily. So putting the cross bracing on, this goes on every other hoop here, and this is kind of the fiddliest bit so far, but basically you have to measure 39, it said 39 in the instruction, but 39.5 seems to be right for us down each side, and then you have to sort of finagle these nuts and bolts through here and tighten them down. This is definitely slowing us down a little bit, but we're almost done. This adds a lot of rigidity to this kit, and should be great also for running things down the middle of the tunnel. One of the accessories that I really wanted, which comes with the Gothic Pro kit, is the lift kit, and this brings it up another 16 inches or so, and from what I've heard from other people that own these tunnels, it adds just a huge amount of height. It just makes the inside feel a lot bigger when you're working there, so I'm really excited about this. One thing just to keep in mind is the clips here that hold up the plastic. Make sure you put those on first on the right bows, so that you can, otherwise you won't be able to get it over this bolt right here, or the screw. So they just go together, and then you just screw it together, pretty much like everything else here. The hoops are all built, and we're transferring them to the backyard here, and we have them in 3 different piles. One is just cross braces, one is no cross braces, and one is cross braces with the side clips here. And the best way we found moving them is just doing 3 at a time, and the trickiest part is by just keeping it balanced up and down. Otherwise it gets really hard. So this is the last one coming in now, and you can sort of see from this diagram here the spacing that we're looking for, the 5-foot hoops. So those are where the cross braces are. So it's a 100-foot tunnel, and they're every 5 feet. So there's 21 hoops, and 10 of them have cross braces. So by setting up this way, as we're putting the hoops up in place, we can just grab the right one that we need out of which pile, and it should go pretty smoothly. All right, well, we got the hoops up. Went pretty well. We made one mistake, if you guys noticed during that time lapse, probably not though, but we didn't put the side clips on the right one. We put it one off, so we just had to readjust and slide that one in. But yeah, they're all up now, so we're gonna work on the, I think the center purlin next. We got the center purlin up, and I didn't film it because we just had to get things done right now. The day's getting towards the end, we're running out of light. But basically you slide all these pipes together, and then there's a Tek screw that pops them together here with the different sections. And then you have these pieces up here that sort of hold them up. So you kind of just get them all in place, and then go through and you measure the hoops being 5 feet apart and tighten them down, and you just work your way down. So it takes a little while, and you just have to be persistent with it, but we got it done. We're only within a few inches off at the end, so I feel like that's pretty good. Gene and Dave are working on getting the wind braces on the sides. Those go between the last couple hoops, just to make it a little bit more rigid. And then we'll probably do the wiggle wire, and we'll see where we go from there. I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. We got everything done except for the plastic. So we got the center purlin all secured. We got the wind braces on the sides done. I got the wiggle wire over the top done. A little bit tricky to bend it at the top, but definitely doable. I'd say we put in a little over maybe 7.5 hours in today. I'd say about 7 hours between the three of us. And yeah, I mean, I had to slow down a little bit for filming, but not much. And that's about how much time we put in. I think the second time will be definitely a lot faster, and I can probably do a lot more prep work before people show up to help. So, you know, putting the little pieces together, even maybe building some of the bows ahead of time, stuff like that you don't need extra people around for. I mean, it definitely helps and it makes it a lot faster, but overall, pretty enjoyable experience. You know, it's just tough here because it's been raining so much and the ground's really muddy, plus we're on the slope and all that. But overall, pretty good. So about 7 hours in so far today. Not including the prep ahead of time, of course. And so we'll be back in a couple days and we'll get the plastic put on. So it's been a few days and we got this plastic up yesterday and it actually went pretty well. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage because it was just Gene and I, and my boys helped out a little bit, and I just couldn't get the camera going while doing that at the same time, just because this is a big piece of plastic for basically 2 people. But we did get it done, and I just want to talk a little bit about that experience and show you kind of what it looks like. So as I said, the plastic went pretty well, actually better than I expected, and considering it was just Gene and I, and then my boys helped a little bit, but they're 10, so they weren't a huge help, but they did hold the plastic in a couple times when we got a little bit of a breeze. But anyways, as long as it's not windy, you can definitely get it done with 2 people. And what we did is we laid out the plastic next to the tunnel. This is a 100-foot tunnel, so we cut it at 104 feet, and so 4 feet longer. And that was a recommendation that they had, and it worked great because then you don't have to deal with all the extra on one end or both ends and trying to get it in the middle, and that worked out great. We had more than enough to grab and pull and get it on, so that worked out really well. And then we just sort of, after we rolled it out, we just sort of pulled it over and just worked it across back and forth a few times until we got the plastic over the top, and that worked out great. And then we put the ropes on, and the way these work is they just zigzag back and forth going to every other bow, and I showed during the install the plates and the clips, and that worked out fine. And then after you get it back and forth, it was a little bit tricky to sort of learn how to take the rope and throw it over, but once you get the hang of it, it works okay. You definitely need 2 people for that job. And then after you get it in, you sort of pull the tension and pull up the slack, and then the same person does the other thing on the other side, and eventually get that all done. So overall, it feels very secure, and it wasn't too complicated, but like everything, you sort of takes a while to get the hang of it. Let me show you what's going on inside the tunnel. All right, so we're in the tunnel. It's just a big open tunnel, but it feels great to have the space covered, especially with all the rain we're getting this winter, and I'm happy to get this dry out a little bit, build beds in a few weeks, and I'm just realizing how much time I'm gonna spend in here. But it's awesome to have tunnels, and I'm really excited to put up the next one, probably in a few weeks or so, as we have time. And overall, I think the experience was decent, and this is sort of, as I said, an overview of that install experience. And so for time-wise, it took Gene and Dave and I, so me and 2 buddies, about 7 hours just to get the structure up. So that's putting in the rebar, putting the hoops together, putting them up. It took about 7 hours, and the plastic took Gene and I, so, you know, 2.5 hours or so. And so together it's about 9.5 hours with 2 to 3 people. And on the website it says 5 to 10 hours, so we're in there for sure. I think you could probably get it closer to 5 if you had a bunch of people and have done it before. So I think, I don't know, 5, I think it'll be really quick, but I guess if you put a few together, you probably could do that. And also keep in mind that that time does not include any prep for the land. So like we dug the trenches, any land prep you have to do inside the tunnel, all those sorts of things are not really included. Also the end walls, and that's a big thing. I think most manufacturers kind of leave the end walls as a customer experience, and it's kind of a bummer. I know Farmer's Friend does sell 2 end wall kits. They are a little bit pricey, I think, and I don't think there's a lot of great options out there, and it's usually like you build the tunnels and then the end walls, it's like, well, figure it out. So right now these are just open. The plastic is tacked in with the wiggle wire at the end, and I'm going to be doing end walls eventually. So keep in mind that's an extra step, extra cost that's really not included. I mean, you could bunch the ends with the T-post. There's enough plastic for that, I believe, but I have not seen many farmers using that at this point, especially now that the wiggle wire is at the end of the tunnel. So I'm probably going to be doing scissor doors, and I will take you guys along for that experience when I get there. But just keep in mind that like the cost and the time for those is really not included in the build time and cost of the tunnel. But overall, pretty good experience. There's been, you know, they tweak things here and there. For example, like the clips at the bottom of the hoops used to be carabiners, now these are these clips. As I mentioned during the video, I made that one mistake with the clamps that hold up the plastic in the middle. I don't know if that was a combination of just missing a detail there, or trying to piece together the video with the instruction manual and all that kind of stuff. And they've made slight changes along the way, so I'd highly recommend that you watch the video, read the book, and then maybe look at all the parts and really think about what you're doing beforehand. But again, that wasn't a huge setback, and overall, like, we did kind of just cruise through this, and I think the second time will be a lot faster. So, as I said, not a build video here, but I just want to kind of give you my overall experience installing this tunnel, especially for the first time, and really enjoying. I think I've said in some of my older videos about my old PVC tunnel that I think a kit is where it's at. I think you don't save any money by doing it yourself, and I agree. And I think there's a lot of peace of mind in getting a kit. Everything's in it. You just open everything up and get building. And for some people, they like the challenge of DIY stuff, but for me, like, I'm so busy and time is hard to come by. I know that for me to be sourcing things, it's really nice to just have everything in a box or on a pallet, whatever, and be ready to go. And so far the experience has been pretty good. I can't give you any feedback about using the tunnel, obviously. We haven't even put it to use yet, but obviously there'll be a lot of content about that coming up. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. And this is as close to an unboxing thing you're gonna get. I don't understand those shows. So as you can see behind me, we got the middle section, which is that 90-degree or almost 90-degree bend. That's not 90. What is that? Like more than 90? Out here, we're doing the driveway because it's level. Up back, it's just a nightmare. So you can see we got this little assembly line going on here. Should probably do it right.
Oh yeah, sure. While he's filming.
Transferring the hoops from the driveway to the backyard here so we can set them up over here. And we have them in 3 distinct piles because there's 3 different just keep in mind that, like, these are just tacked at the ends, and there's no